Hang on. Sorry, I forgot to hit the record, Michelle said, sorry. Okay. So I work here in Louisville for 7 County Services. The 7 County Services, we serve a radius of outside of the Louisville area as well. Taylorsville, Shelbyville, Oldham, outside of the Louisville area as well. So we have clients there that have access to our 7 County Services. My role is for mental health. I am a mental health therapist. And really, it's to focus on the deaf community, right? Clients that have, because I'm deaf myself. And so I have that benefit in order to help them a little bit better to understand their circumstances and their situation. So I got into this profession and I love what I do. Clint, good morning. My name is Clint Nowak. Sorry if I said that wrong. I am a psychologist here in Louisville. I work for a group training, Compass Counseling. And I do psych services as well. It's CCKS. CCAKS. I'm sorry, CCP. CCPKS. What else? Myself, I'm hard of hearing. I typically see children, usually age range starting around kindergarten to 17. I've seen many deaf children here. I don't see a lot of deaf children here. But I'm here as a resource. That's a good start, Clint. No, that's a good start. Can you you can hold that and you can explain that just a little bit later. Okay, just hold on to that one. Tell me why. Why did you decide to become a psychologist? Well, Nina, I had class with, and there was a story that she was telling me about her dad was in the hospital and he had to stay for like 2 weeks, and that his mental was deteriorating, and how was she going to help and what to do. And then after that, they kicked him out after his 2 weeks was up. It was like he had to go out from that place. And I just felt some kind of way about that. Like it just didn't sit well with me. And so since then, this is the work I've been doing. Holly. Hi, this is Holly Bryant. I'm hearing. I'm licensed here in the state of Kentucky as a counselor, as an LPC. I grew up with mental health in the family. So for me, it's been very important. When I got to college, I learned more about counseling work. And then I also got involved in some sign language and fell in love with that. The more I socialized with my signing, I had a best friend that was deaf, so really picked up some signing there. And then I paired it with the mental health, went to grad school, and I thought I would marry the two together. And so now being a counselor for the deaf, and I serve those clients that are deaf. Thank you, Holly. Makia, can you introduce yourself first and then tell us a little bit about your role? Because your role is a little bit different. And then Barbara Martin can explain and introduce herself as well. Barbara can go. You can introduce yourself first, Barbara, and then we'll have Makia go. Okay, great. Hello, my name is Barbara Martin. There we go. Okay. Before I was a sign language interpreter for the deaf for 33 years. I also was a MODA, mother of a deaf adult. Okay, a MODA, not a CODA. My son is 40. The reason that I began signing the way that I did, he's the reason for my son. Maybe about 10 or so years ago, my rotator cuff in my shoulder injured it. So I had to give up interpreting, as a profession full time. So I decided that I didn't want to stop servicing those clients though. Like, what can I do? So I decided to go back to school. I went to U of L and got my MSSW. Graduated, and now I have my LCSW. And so Aaron Caldwell, they used to be working for 7 counties. Yeah. Now she lives in Florida, but she was my supervisor for 1.5 years or so. So I'm really proud of the time that I was able to work with her. I miss her. But anyway, the mental health, it is important to me, and I understand that my time that I give as an interpreter, there were many barriers, right, that I saw, that I noticed during my interpreting days, right? Mental health, healthcare, problems with access, right? Deaf senior citizens, the education, to kids. Like, there were just so many aspects that I felt like that I could advocate for. And I felt like I could empower the deaf and hard of hearing more, the deaf, hard of hearing, and the blind. And I felt like that was important to do that. And I enjoyed it so much. And I don't know why I waited so long to do this, really and truly. Like, I just love the work that I do. So. Heiser Hearing Institute as well, HHI. I was one of the first to set up a mental health counseling sessions there. And they're called Integrate. And those are going really well. I missed that. Okay. Those are going really well over at the Heiser Hearing Institute. The intensive integration, of counseling services is going really well there over at the Hearing Heiser Institute. Thank you so much, Barbara. Mental health is beginning to pop up in various places, right? Counseling is getting help. It's important and it's key. And one thing that happens with individuals as a whole sometimes is the approach that people take, right? So we've got some different approaches here on this call. We have some case managers for the deaf and hard of hearing, and they're going to introduce themselves. And then perhaps, they've been involved with some different things that would know, such as Holly. Sorry I'm late. This is Holly, and I work in 7 counties. And as you know, Michelle mentioned, I am a case manager there. I work very, very closely with Jules. With therapy, one of the things that we like to do is like we like to see what our clients are having issues with. Is it housing? Like, what are the barriers? Is it court? What are the different barriers that could be causing some of the mental illnesses that could be going on, or some of the mental issues that are going on? And like Michelle said, the approach, like Barbara said, the barriers, that's usually what it is that we have to overcome. And so with children from kindergarten up to, I don't know, until they become an adult age, obviously, there's really no limit how long we'll work with someone. But we like to work with the family. And so when I work with children, I also work with their family. It's not just I'm working with the children, I'm also working with their family, right? So the child could be deaf, their family could be hearing, there could be some other languages there could be some other issues that are there. So I try to help guide and try to figure out what are the barriers and what are the things that the children may need going through this process. High school students, I tend to work more with transitioning, right? Because they'll be going into college, or do they want to go off to work, or what is their next phase that they want to work on? And I know that can be scary sometimes, but that's what it is. And so why is it so important? Like, why are you in this work, Holly? Because I'm deaf myself. And folks help me. And so I want to help and show other people as well, right? And I think that's important, that we have hearing people that know signs, as well as deaf people that are involved in this, right? And I think that's the approach that we're taking by being here today. And I've also worked as a VR counselor, so I've got some experience with that. I've worked at Social Security. And so there's like various components of the process that can be helped with, right? Insurance, like just various things. Okay, just hold on to that. So we're going to explain that a little bit further down the road there, Holly. Just hang on. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you want to explain more about what you do. I love that. That's wonderful. But just hold on for that just a second, okay? We will in just a little bit. Now, for yourself, tell me this briefly, though. As a counselor and as an MSSW, Makai is going to share with us. Makia is going to share with us her experience coming out of grad school. So I'm deaf, yes, and I've been working at HHI, Heiser Hearing Institute. Barbara's my supervisor. I went to college at U of L, and like I said, I acquired my MSSW degree. And I've been doing this just for a short time now. I've been trying to take my test to get my CSW license to become a therapist. So why did I want to be involved in these services? Why did I want to be involved in this community like this? Because of access. Mental health, there isn't a lot of access, or they don't know where to find the access in the community to be supported. I want to improve the access of the lives of people that live with these mental illnesses or these mental health issues, right? I want to be able to help Barbara and others to either solve and lead them to, or to diminish their mental health issues and or those barriers. Thanks, Makia. Okay. Now we're going to start over with Clint. Clint, could you please maybe describe some of your services? What's available if they were to choose your agency? Can you tell me what's available, or tell the panel what's available for like counseling services? Do you have, what are the variety of services that you feel are important that are out there that can be obtained statewide? Sure. Medication. That is one of the biggest. As a psych, those psychiatrists, psychologists, those are the two differences between that, right? So those groups, there's one that can prescribe medicine, prescribe medication, There's also the therapy aspect of this. PSY, I believe that they have medication that they can support and fund, whereas PSI, hold on, interpreter needs to hang on. Michelle, can you help me with that? Is it PSY? I just need to make sure I have those two clear. Gotcha. Okay, the psychologist and the psychiatrist, right? So we have the two differences between those. The main difference is that one can prescribe a medication and one cannot. The psychologist cannot. The psychiatrist can. Here in my role, here at my agency, we cannot prescribe. I do not prescribe medication. But we can provide therapy online. There are several different tests that we could do, diagnosis type tests we can do virtually that can be assessed. Typically, we have our clients come and do a consultation in person, but we have been able to do some over video now. There are a variety of issues that someone can be seen for, like the ear, nose, and throat, the ENT. For an example, there's a variety of reasons why, and of course, it would all remain confidential. I've seen myself as I mentioned, I've worked with kids from various ages, kindergarten through high school in the community. So yeah, there's just really a variety of reasons that people would want to use my agency. Okay, Clint, great. Could you maybe describe a little bit about that assessment or that psychological test you were talking about? So there are different types of tests that can be given, or assessments, for example. If we perhaps got a case and there, the student or the child was having a hard time trying to focus, or they were struggling with focusing in class, perhaps, right? Perhaps we would maybe target in on that to see what is more with that, what is in depth with not being able to focus in the classroom. There are many tests that we have, but there are some depth-specific tests that we can give. Okay, well, that sounds good. Thank you, Clint. Holly, can you maybe explain a little bit about your agency, like the family work that you all do? Sure. Now, I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Family Works is the name of my agency. And we primarily have 3 different things that we work on. It's counseling. We also have case managers. And like
LMFT.
LMFT.
Family therapist.
Thank you, Michelle. We see clients ages really 2-3 years old on up to adults. We tend to offer like one-on-one play therapy, counseling, over video counseling. We have that as an option. I think that's about all. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Barbara, do you mind sharing? Sure. So mine is a little bit different. My approach to mental health services, we have an integrated approach. And traditionally, that kind of therapy has been with, assessments, a diagnosis of some sort, and then therapy or an intervention, if you would, a DEB or a DET.
DBT, dialectical behavior therapy.
DEBT, thank you. And a CBET. So the concept of behavioral therapy, we try to use all of that with other things like breathing. There are some new therapies out there. Mindful therapy, mindful thinking therapy. Also, we've even added art therapy, music therapy, horse therapy. So it's just really nice to have these other additions to the traditional approach of therapy, right? My life experience includes that integration of inclusiveness, of other things, other uses that the mind can do. Sensory. Oh, cancer. Cancer patients, for example, they experience many of these type of needs and stresses, especially in the psychological setting. With cancer support, we've seen that the survival rate and the need to survive for those patients, for that cancer support has gone up, right? So that's where I feel like that my training and that my practice comes in with children, all the way through seniors. We have a center that allows for, the variety and the different kinds of therapy for the REKI, Reiki. And those kinds of things that help reduce the stress management. Breathing is a huge one, and that's another one that we talk about. Having therapy. And that's a different kind of CBT therapy that they can do a touch and a breathe type of a situation. And that helps reduces the, the anxiety and the stress and the depression and that kind of thing. So yes, well, I guess we'll talk about that a little bit more later, that access. But yes, thank you, Michelle. That's a little bit of information about my agency. Thank you. Jules and Holly were together since they work at 7 counties together, right? I'll let Jules go first, Holly says. Holly, don't do that to me. Come on. Okay. So at 7 counties, we have a range of services. We really do. Like you said, children all the way up to senior citizens. So that's who we serve. We serve one-on-one settings, group settings, family settings. Yeah, so we have the one-on-one, the group settings, the family therapy settings. We have CM. Sometimes we have, community type sessions as well. So we also provide addiction therapy, addiction services, homeless services, psychiatric services, psych services, medical services, pharmacy services, I guess, so to speak, assessments, psychological assessments. We have child services. Now, we separately serve, and we have like a specific focus on the deaf and hard of hearing area as well in our program. So while we have all these services do apply to the deaf and hard of hearing as well. Anything I forgot, Holly? Holly says, I just want to add that we do help with waivers, development waivers, or like referrals. That's important for us. We do a lot of clients where we have to do referrals. But yes, Jules, no, I don't think you forgot anything. Yeah, so our approach is from school to college, right? We see kids as young as kindergarten all the way till they go to college. Really, we don't have like one specific service or one specific area that we focus in. Therapy obviously is going to be huge for everybody on this call, but we have various kinds of therapy that, PT, OT, traumatic stress disorder therapy. We have, there's a wide range of therapy and services that 7 counties offers, but deaf and hard of hearing specific to. Holly says, Jules covered everything. Holly says, I just want to add, you don't have to necessarily work with 7 counties like a 7 counties therapist. 7 counties works with other agencies in Kentucky as well. So VR, so there's other relationships that we have, 7 counties has with other agencies in the community. So I don't want people to think that they have to work only with us. Jules says correct. That was a lot of information that you all covered. Thanks. Time looked like it's going to be running out fast for us. So I just dropped in the chat a form, a CMSC form that explains about the agency and about the mental health counseling services there. So if you all want to take that and upload and take a review at it later at your time, that's fine. The third question though, suppose someone is, obviously that we're recording this and someone's going to be watching. How would someone be referred, or how would they get in touch with you? Barbara, can you go first with that one? Okay, so I just saw where you dropped it in the chat. I'm going to put my website there in the chat as well. That website, when you go to my link, that will explain a lot about who we are and what we do. You'll see the box there to click. We have schedules for appointments if you like to have a consultation of any sort, or a chat. There's an online chat feature live. You can make an appointment. And we can take it as a new patient enrollment. The information being downloaded, unfortunately, is our patient flyer. We are accepting new patients. However, that information, new patients enrollment, the packet is in there when you go on the website. You have to go down to the bottom and click on that. You'll get the new patient packet, and the forms will be in that packet. Barbara, let me ask this. Do you accept insurance, or is it self-pay, or all of those? All of those. We have private insurance. We accept that. We accept Medicare and Medicaid. So we also have a T-SIM service where we work with case managers like Makia. We're soon ready to hire 2 more therapists. Can't wait, excited about that, which will give us some more access. Holly has a question, and then we'll move to the next person. Makia, do you all take insurance too? Yep, the same as Barbara. I'm under Barbara, so all of what Barbara takes, we take too. So for the counseling and for the CMT, both, right? Yes, you accept both. Nice. So it could be a private pay or somewhere that could be found online for downloading the forms and all of that and getting those filled out. Did you want to add something? No, that's all. You're good. Okay. Holly, how would someone want to contact you if they wanted to get in contact with your services? Do you accept insurance? Yep. You can just give us a call. The second way is, of course, online. There's an online form. There's an intake form there. You can have it sent over to us. At that point, too, you're able to set up an appointment. We do accept insurance, private insurance, Medicaid and Medicare, both. Let me ask this, Holly. Right now, but in August. Yeah, right now, I'm the only one at the agency right now. I am the only one who's available that can sign, so that makes my caseload limited. Right? So in August, though, yes, that's when we can accept new deaf patients. Clint, can you maybe share about your agency coming in? Do you all accept insurance? State insurance? I don't think we accept. I would have to double check that. I think they check everybody's insurance when they come in, but if it's a self-pay or private insurance, yes. I think Anthem, though, has very limited benefits with us. I would say if you want to reach out, just please email me and I'll see what I can do. I use video a lot, Zoom. We can use Sorensen or Purple for video phone for my deaf clients. Yeah, so I would say the best way to get in contact with me is to email me and let me see how I can help you. Do you mind putting your email in the chat? Perfect. Barbara? I did want to add just one thing. At HHI, Higher Hearing Institute, okay, hold on to that just a second. Jules, could you maybe say if they want to, how is it that they would contact 7 counties? Jules, just go ahead and just put in our email and our phone number to tap so they can tap us. So I've just put the 3 different ways, Jules says, in there that you can contact 7 counties. You can call, you can email, right? They're going to ask for your name and your address so they can see what center is close for assistance to you. But directly to us would be for me and Holly, it's directly for the deaf and hard of hearing services. Fourth way, there's a fourth way? Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. So there's the email, the phone numbers that you'll need. And then there's online, like the rest of the agencies have mentioned, there's an online form. So we do accept private insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, people who have no insurance. We do find a way to cover those people as well. So that's pretty cool. I don't think I've missed anything. Okay, I think that's it. So one thing that may have been a little bit confusing for people watching, everybody on the Zoom here, is there's 1, 2, 3, 4 therapists here. And then all of you all here, this is it. Like, this is all we have, like these 4 therapists in the whole state of Kentucky that can sign. Some people prefer going through an interpreter. That's fine if you want to go through an interpreter. Some people don't have the budget that they need for the interpreter. So we want to be able to make sure that we pay for the interpreters that need to be paid for. So we want to start a list of all the different people in the state by regions who have. So we already have a list that's been created. It's been sent in the chat here. I want to give you just a little bit of advice. The last question for you all. So because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, the audience may want to know, like, what's one tip that you would advise on taking care of yourself? And then we'll either open the audience up for chat, either via typing chat, or let them pop up on screen. So Holly, what's one tip you would give? I think it's really important to know yourself. When the weather is nice, when the sun is out, it's easy to feel good. It's easy to feel great, right? So get out, take a walk, because like the weather and your mood, so know yourself. Makia. Ooh. For me, what I've been learning, I just moved back to Kentucky from 4 years ago. I was living in DC. I went to Gallaudet College and worked on some degrees there. Now I'm back here. So I'm very disconnected now from the deaf community from what I was when I was living at Gallaudet. I mean, living in DC, going to Gallaudet. So I think the socialization, I think that if you're, especially for deaf, having other deaf friends, because they get it, they have the same experiences, they share the world together, right? And so I think being around so many deaf people helped me feel so connected to the world. And now that I'm not there, I miss that. I miss being engaged with so many deaf people, right? So I think that socialization aspect is what I would say. Thank you. Holly, any wisdom? I would say take care of your thoughts, right? Whether it's outside walking, whether it's journaling, you pick something for you. And you take care of you. Clint. I would say limit social media. That's my biggest thing. Stop wasting time on there you don't need. Just limit the social media interaction. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I think we're agreeing with that one. Jules. I think when you're feeling a little uneasy, a little bit restless, no, don't feel guilty about that. I promise you'll overcome it. Don't feel guilty about that moment, right? Give yourself some boundaries. Right? So that full sentence of just no. You just say no like that, just no. Oh, Jules is good at that, Holly says. Jules is real good at just no. That's it. No. She's good at that. Barbara, you have a tip for us for mental health awareness? I think that everyone here, I think this is an important one. We need to schedule time for the connection. Schedule time for yourself, the same way you make an appointment to do all the other things in your life. Make an appointment to take care of yourself. Once a month, even if it's just once a month, we need that. We need a break. We need the break. So that's what I would say. It helps you maintain the mental health that you want, that you need, right? So you need to take that break to like decompress, you know, and that's it. Take your cup, take your time. It's for you. I wanted to just add something. Barbara, did you say you wanted to add something from before? Oh, yes. From the hearing. Heiser?
The Kentucky Hears program.
Thank you. My eyes are okay. Kentucky Hears program. That's new here in Kentucky, and they have a big van that they've been out trying to market with. They have audiology services, they have speech services, speech and language, they have behavioral health that will be able to provide some support. Yeah, so these are some things that Eastern Kentucky. Hold on one second. So we want to be able to refer people there for counseling as well to this van, the Kentucky Ears van. I think that could be a resource that like we could add. Michelle? Do we know who the direct contact is for that? Because if folks have tried to contact and not from us and we're not getting a response. So can someone help us with that? Really? You haven't got a response? Makia says, me. Remember? Okay. Okay, Makia. Barbara, remember like 2 weeks ago when they were discussing about the phone direct line? And they said that they were working on the phone lines or something that was wrong with the direct phone line for like folks to call in. So I did hear about that 2 weeks ago. I'm so sorry that there was a problem, Michelle. Yeah, I just want to make sure that folks here on this call today, if they wanted to reach out, but wouldn't be successful. So we got some people here today that may want to use it as a resource, right? Or to partner with or what have you. And so if they're not responding, yeah, so that's fine. Email me or Barbara in that case, and we'll be happy to help. We'll be happy to help you out until they figure out the phone lines or what have you. Oh, thank you. Okay, so did we see a question that was in the chat? The different programs that were there. Now you were saying that this van, does it only travel to Eastern Kentucky or Western Kentucky or both? No, all over. Makia, it goes all over, she says. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, it looks like there was a question, but it's been answered. Does anybody know if they have assertive community training centers?
Assertive community treatment,
Treatment,
assertive community treatment.
treatment.
That I know is available at 7 counties in general, and each of our community mental health centers do have a team for ACT. And Lori's answering. in the
Lori
chat
answered.
too.
Mhm. Hey, Michelle, what about, there was another question I think you might have missed. Who was it? Oh, I think that was Barbara added that part for, for the hard of hearing.
I'm gonna go ahead and SimCom because I think
Yeah,
it's a struggle. Okay.
it is.
So, Megan, yes, you can turn on your camera and you can ask questions. Go ahead. And the last one for Blake. Blake did have a comment that the Kentucky Commission on the Deaf and Hard of Hearing is involved with going to Kentucky Hears events. And if you like it or follow on Facebook, you can see where the van is traveling. So we're trying to build those partnerships. Our hope is that they will go to each of the community mental health centers in the future. We just need to figure out all of that partnership. And Amanda, I think, was asking the panelists if they were interested in becoming vendors for VR so that they had a bigger list of people who could serve. And then she left her information in the chat. So if you're interested in that, then please contact Amanda Friend at VR and you can become a vendor for that agency. I'm trying to facilitate and watch the chat, so I did not plan on sending out any follow-up for this, but if you want me to send you something, please just email me directly and ask what you're missing, and then I'll make sure that you can get that. So I'm not sending out, so Holly, if you don't mind putting down in the chat your information, that'd be great.
Already did. And Jules, so yeah, okay, so both Holly said they already did.
Megan, you go ahead and jump on. You can turn your camera on if you want to.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm an LCSW in Lexington. And Michelle, thank you for sending me the link to this meeting. I have a client who is hearing impaired, and I'm trying to help her maybe get some supplemental therapy that can address some of the areas of competency that I don't have as a hearing therapist that doesn't have any experience serving a client with hearing impairment before. And it's interesting because psychological services are one thing that she's needed. So Clint, I feel like you may be the right referral for that. And then Barbara, I wanted to ask more about, you mentioned mindfulness and some of these deeper therapies. I do a lot of subconscious work, and this client landed with me because I do ketamine assisted psychotherapy, and the preparation therapy that I use for that is depth psychology. It's subconscious work. And so the challenge we have found is that her cognitive part is so, what's the word? Everybody's cognitive part is very strong, right? That's how we lead in the world, but it's interfering with her ability to do subconscious work or get into embodied feelings. So direction that I give about mindfulness, I haven't been able to deliver that in a way that she can use it. So I wanted to ask Barbara if you think you might be a better fit in that way to help her with mindfulness skills. I don't know if it's something that I'm not understanding about her processing style because I lack the perspective. So maybe Barbara, if you could speak to that.
Sure.
Here you go. So I'm going to SimCom too at this point. So yes, I've had some amazing results with patients who are deaf and hard of hearing. As a provider and someone who's been, signing for the better part of 40 years, I have also some experience in working with deaf blind that I've incorporated into this work. So when you're working as a hearing provider, counseling, wellness, you lose that affect of being able to use, okay, close your eyes and try to visualize those kinds of things. But I've found some techniques that have worked really well with the deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf blind clients that I have. I will also say that we provide services to people who have ear-related disorders. So people who are dizzy and have tinnitus as well. And I use these therapies with those patients who are experiencing high distress from things like tinnitus. And these kinds of therapies, I mean, maybe thousands of patients in the last 3 years that we've served with these techniques. And so I've been practicing holistic modalities since 1992. So that's another aspect of integrating life experience with my degree and credentials. So I'd be happy to help with that.
I thought you might be a good fit. Does it translate well via telehealth?
Yeah, I have done it with video, sure.
Okay.
I also go out sometimes in a remote setting, out to the Frankfurt area, if that helps,
Okay.
in getting something in closer proximity to Lexington.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. Thanks so much.
Thank you all. How exciting to have options and to have people who have expertise in a variety of approaches, because we know that no one therapist fits for all people. And we need to make sure that we're building up our ability to serve a wide range of people. And if one place or one approach is not effective for that person, that we support each other in referrals and connecting people to the right fit. So I'm so excited to have this discussion today. And I hope that you all will email us and let us know your preferences and your suggestions for future Lunch and Learn sessions, that you will follow up with people to see if you need to establish contracts or referrals. And let's build those options for people, because we all deserve to have happy, full, healthy lives. So thank you all for the work that you all do, panelists. Thank you, Kenya, for interpreting today. And we really look forward to our next Lunch and Learn and to seeing what other topics pop up. Thank you all so much for joining today. Have a wonderful day. Let me stop the recording.